Hey, 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 it's Millie here. Just in case you didn't know, this is part 2 of episode 13. So, if you haven't already, listen to part 1 and then come back over here. But if you have, I hope you enjoy part 2, which is coming up right now.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good point because I know a topic that tends to come up a lot of times with my generation of like the Gen Z is instant gratification. Like we want to work
Yeah,
right now and then get paid like as
yeah.
we're doing
No, I
the
get it.
work, but it
I get
definitely
it.
takes that time and
And
process.
yeah, and I literally been like that, honestly, like for a long time. And the one thing for my concierge company that made me taught, it made me it set my ass down as far as not just not worrying about instant gratification.
Mm,
Like instant gratification is poison to our journey of success. It's poison. You have to be in love with the delayed gratification. You have to be in love with that stuff, with that mentality,
yeah,
with that with that mindset.
yeah. What do you think? When do you think that turning point was for you? Was it you don't have to remember a particular event, but do you think there was
Mhm.
something that was like, okay, I'm gonna stop trying to get things right away, and it just made you kind of realize about delayed gratification?
Um, when I was chasing the money and not the relationship, that's when I
Ah,
realized. Yeah,
mm,
and this is like very, very in the beginning where I'm like, no, don't chase the money. Like relationships over transactions all day.
and are you
Like
talking about the
relationships.
sorry.
Go ahead. That's okay.
Are you talking about the relationships between you and, like, your clientele or, like,
I'm
to
saying
your
in general.
business?
I'm
Okay,
saying it. Well, I'm saying more so for my clientele, but also for my
okay.
business. But more so my clientele, like or the people that I want them to be my clients, like potential clients.
Mhm,
You know,
okay.
um, there may be there may be instances where you'll have. Okay, so for instance, I talked about this actually on my page, where you're either going to be a fan or you're going to be a client.
Mm,
Some people are not necessarily going to be clients right away. They may never be your clients, but they're going to be your fan of your work and what you do. And they're always going to, especially how you treat them. And then if you, provide a certain, level of service, even if you're not getting paid,
yeah.
they're going to be your cheerleader to the point where like, hey, like the best form of marketing is obviously word of mouth, but also wildfire as well.
Mm.
Like the wildfire effect, whereas like, which honestly, I actually just made that up, so that actually might be something like the wildfire effect, where like you have wildfire where it just spreads everywhere. It just takes one.
Yes.
So word of mouth is okay. This one client is like, hey, I have this guy in Miami. Okay, great. But then if you have that one client that we really take care of, right? And you don't necessarily worry about
Mhm.
the money, but you worry about the relationship, that word of mouth will spread like wildfire where he's going to tell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10
Mm,
people right away. And
yeah.
then, you know, it's quantified. Like that level of that word of mouth is quantified, scalable. And that's
Hmm,
how you actually, go on a road to success and start getting more
okay.
clients, I should say.
Okay. Can you give some advice on what it takes to maintain and, just kind of build these relationships, like the skills we should have, when talking to people? Because for instance, I find talking to people it's a task. And
Okay.
more
Okay. How about
so,
this? How about this? How about why is it a task?
it's a task because my brain just for instance, like our last episode, you were talking to me and I was listening.
Mm-hmm.
The problem might have I was listening to you. And then I wanted to say something based off of what you said, but I also wanted to let you continue to talk. And then so a lot of the times
Mm-hmm.
after someone's done talking, I'm like, I had something to say, but I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Okay.
conversations just kind of die. But also I want to, what is it that I'm supposed to be saying to you? I understand earlier you said find the value. So do that beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But in the moment when you're first meeting someone, you don't want to be like, oh, I really like what you do. Not do something for me, but I would
Okay.
like to
So
stay.
I got you. So this is what I would say, okay? There's two levels of connections, okay?
Mhm.
There is the one connection where it's the relationship based one, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the other one where it can be strictly transactional.
Okay.
And that is okay. Like, we need to really stop romanticizing networking to the point where everything has to be a relationship, if that makes sense. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this. Keep it real. I'm going to keep it all the way real for you right now, where it's like, all right, Jada, you see a guy, right? Guy see you, you see the guy, right? You guys are interested, right? He comes up to you. If you about it, as far as like, hey, I like you, and I know you like me, whatever, you guys are talking. If you guys become intimate or whatever during that night, whatever, it's fine because there is a mutual attraction to each other, and there's going to be equal outcome as far as like what you want to get. It can be the same thing for networking. Whereas like, I have people where I want to be used. I want to be utilized. That's fine. I have no problem people having agendas. I just need to know if you have the agenda. So if you know that person needs something, right? And you can actually give them something as well too, it's okay to have that equal exchange. You don't have to like, oh, we have to build a relationship. No, we don't really need that. Like, there's different strokes for different folks. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But then also too, here's another thing. Active listening when it comes to networking is so important.
Yeah.
Because you should not listen to respond, if that makes sense. You should listen to give that person that space to say whatever he or she needs to say, and then take that information to deliver the response, if that makes sense.
It makes sense because growing up and like throughout the school system, they would tell us about active listening, and it really makes sense. I don't know what it is. It's so hard to do.
Yeah, well, here's
there's
the
just
thing.
a disconnect.
Active listening. Well, okay, so here's another thing. Another trick that I actually use, right? As far as like connecting and conversing, right? You got to find a level and a method of relatability with that person.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Why are we here right now? What's the one thing that brought us together? One word.
Podcasting.
Exactly. So use that form of relatability for other people as well. Maybe you see another gorgeous black woman that has her hair out and stuff. By the way, I love that you have your hair out, by the way. It's just, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. Just as from a black man to a black woman, it just makes me so happy. More black women need to do it.
I'm glad I could bring you joy.
Yeah, so if you see another black woman that actually has her hair out, you don't need to necessarily go up to them kind of awkwardly. You already know how to connect to them. Like, oh, hey, girl, you know what? I see you at the podcast summit. I'm here too. My name is Jada. Yo, I love your hair. And I just really appreciate you having your hair out like a fro. You know, you see mine. Oh, yeah, girl, I love your hair too. Boom. Connection. See that? Now you can build on top of that because you actually have a foundation of what both you guys have, which is relatability.
No, so that makes sense. I have a jacket that I wear when I go to new places because it's like I use it as like an icebreaker type of thing. Okay. If someone say I like your jacket, I'm like, oh, I like something on you too. But really, that's usually where it stops. But okay, well, I understand what you're saying.
Well, you can build from that, but let's talk about that. You can build from that though. You know how you build from that?
How?
By asking other questions through that relatability.
Oh, like okay, where
cool.
did
from?
you?
Hey, where you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Continue.
Hey, where you from? Okay, hey, where did you get that jacket? Okay, great. Hey, listen, like I usually wear this jacket when I come here. Okay, where else do you like to go? Like You see the boom, 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 boom. Like yeah, like, but it's practice at the end of the day. See, the thing is, a lot of people, when it comes to networking, people are afraid to practice because it is so hard to be awkward. It is so hard. It is so hard to fail. It is so hard to F up.
Yeah.
Got to embrace the suck. You have to embrace the suck.
Okay.
It's going to suck whenever you do anything new.
Ain't that a word? That's true. Brief interjection from
Go ahead.
Jada. Oh, sorry. To the audience. If you would like an episode on conversational skills, let me know. I could benefit from it. You can probably benefit from it. Put it in the comments below. Or, on Instagram or something. Okay, sorry. Back to the topic at hand.
Yes.
So, what would you say are some of the most prominent, well, not most prominent, what would you say is a skill that someone should have when it comes to networking outside of public speaking?
I would say a trifecta of sympathy, empathy, and also compassion, aka emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta be emotionally
that's really
intelligent.
Important.
Yeah, because once you're emotionally intelligent, you can actually read the room on multiple situations. Like me personally, like I'm a rare breed, so like a lot of people don't really have this skill. But like if I'm at networking events, I know like who to talk to and who not to talk to.
Yeah. Because you learned about body language and all of that.
Yes, learn about body language and energies and all that. Like that's actually really, really big, and that really helped me out with my concierge company as well too. Like I know how people are without them even speaking to me, so I'll be able to adjust and to take care of them accordingly. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think you mainly learned that from? Well, no, you actually probably, I was going to ask if you learned it from your concierge company, but you probably learned that most of all, like being a bodyguard, because you would have to be.
Being a bodyguard and also being a security guard in Story. Story has like really, I have been through every single situation you can possibly imagine. I have been in tens and tens of fights, hundreds of fights actually, like just being in situations, altercations to like be able to calm down, because at the end of the day, you have to be just in nightlife in general, you have to have a head on your swivel. Like you have to be able to be like the best organizer of chaos. You have to be able to not take anything personally. And if somebody's yelling and screaming or whatever, this and that, you have to not like nothing. Like that's one of the things that when it comes to the 4 agreements, don't take anything personally. And that has helped me out tremendously with my career.
What are the 4 agreements?
Disarm people. Oh boy, you put me on the spot.
Sorry.
Okay, so keep your word. I don't want to look it up. Keep your word. Don't take anything personally. I'm gonna have to do it. Sorry. Damn, Jada, fine. Look what you did to me, girl. I was on a roll. You out here just
stumped you.
Just stumped me, right? Crazy.
Why are you looking at it?
Huh?
I was gonna say why.
The sadder part is that I have the book. That's the crazy part. The sadder part is I have the damn book. Like that's
okay.
Hold on.
That was going to be my question, though. Where did the 4 agreements come from? Like, it's a book?
Yeah, it's an actual book. It's called The 4 Agreements.
Okay.
Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions and always do your best.
Okay. Who's the book by?
The book is by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Okay. Did you have to... Continue.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, did you have to like read that for your job as a security guard, or did you just leisure?
No.
Okay.
No, just leisure. But I don't really read books for leisure anymore. What I would say is that the last agreement when it comes to do your best I have a interesting take on that.
Mm.
I actually don't believe in doing your best.
Why not?
I actually do believe in doing what's required. There's a difference.
Okay. Unpack
Doing your
that.
best. Yeah. So doing your best is a act of like literally like just doing your best. Like just
Yeah.
like, oh my, this is all I can do. This is like I can't do any more. But like to be successful, especially as an entrepreneur, like you have to do more. You have to do more of that. So that's why you have to do what's required, no matter what.
Okay.
So
no,
my take.
that makes sense because sometimes your best isn't what is needed. Wow.
Exactly. And sometimes your best is not what's required. And sometimes what's required is the best for that situation. But your best is not necessarily what's required. You need to exceed your best. So once you exceed your best and you focus on what you do, you focus on what needs to be required, or you need to do what's required. That's actually how you tap into that next level.
Oh, y'all get the book, but also do more than what's required, or do more than your best. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that was actually a really good point. Okay. Well, you kind of just talked about like a valuable skill to have as an emotional intelligence. But for networking, but when it comes to personal branding, what do you think is a skill set that would be good for personal branding? Because I know like everyone can kind of benefit from some type of skill that will help them add value.
So we live in a creator economy now where we're creating content, right? So I'm actually recording myself, so I'll be able to make reels and make, micro content. For your personal brand, you need to be able to learn how to expand your message at scale. So if you need to learn how to use an iPhone properly to record yourself, you need to learn how to record your audio. If you need to learn how to do a podcast, any way that you can showcase your personal brand or your message, that's what actually helps you out with your personal brand. Because the more people, the more eyes, and the more ears that you have, then the quicker that your message will spread. So I would say definitely dive into content, definitely dive into learning at any level on how to make content. That's one thing. Now, when people say, okay, I want to make the content, I know how to make the content. What do I make the content of? Now, what I do is you always reverse engineer. What do I love as a person, right? Let me go back and all the different things that I do. What do I love what do I love and what am I good at as well? More importantly, what you're good at. Okay. If that makes sense. You always do what you're good at, because if you're good at, I don't really worry about like passions and dreams and all that all the time. Like, yeah, you should definitely dream. You should definitely have passions, but you need to really like, really focus on like what you're good at, if that makes sense. Because that's how you can actually make money and be profitable as well.
That makes a lot of sense, because I really enjoy comedians. I love laughing, but I'm not a funny person. I cannot be intentionally funny. People laugh at me all the time, but that's just because I'm different from them. But that's okay.
No, I got you. Yeah, definitely. So, like for me, like, my pillar, and then that's how I found out, like, my pillars of knowledge. So through my personal brand, I have 4 pillars of knowledge. I have nightlight hospitality, personal branding, networking, and content creation. Okay. Those are my pillars of knowledge that I am masters at. Or becoming masters, I should say, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But that's the goal, to master whatever your pillars are.
Master that, because the pillars of knowledge, if I have that and I master all 4, I master 1 or 2 of them right now, then I'm able to quantify, my revenue and also, become and be more successful than I am.
For someone who doesn't know what pillars are, how would you like describe that and how to find those?
Ooh, that's a good question. Now, the best way to find something is the process of finding it out.
Yeah.
Which sounds so trivial, but it's so true. Taste testing and just going through the gauntlet of what you like and what you're interested in, and to see how you can actually learn from that, and to see how you can actually implement that into your brand. And then you can possibly, become an authority on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, what I would say too is that even though I have my pillars of knowledge, right now I'm focusing on one thing to become a big authority on it, if that makes sense. So whatever pillars of knowledge that you have, I'm not saying find 4 or 5 all at once. Like, I have 4 or 5, but I have tiers as far as like what's the most important and what's the least important, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
and then when
sense.
you find out so when you find out your one pillar of knowledge, that's your level of knowledge to become an authority on it through content creation.
Okay. So you're saying workout, and from my understanding, a pillar is something that you see yourself, like you enjoy doing, you're knowledgeable about it, and you feel as though you can portray that for someone else, like to someone else.
Yeah. I'll be able to provide value to somebody like that. Yeah, with me getting paid or not.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a really good point. Getting paid or not.
Yes, getting paid or not. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot what I was saying before that, but that's a good point. Okay. Hold on. Well, yeah. Okay, back to the freestyle. All my questions are asked.
Okay. Freestyle.
Is there anything that you want to touch on in particular about personal branding or networking?
What I will say is that you really need to like focus on the work before the work when it comes to networking.
Okay.
You have a networking event that's coming up this Friday, right? It's a Wednesday. What are you doing to put yourself in position to become the best networker, and for you to hedge your bets and to have a successful networking event? You don't just show up to show up. Like, networking is a before, during, and after process. Finding out what the event is, finding out how you should dress, finding out who is going to be there as well too, what kind of people is going to be there, what value you'll be able to bring those type of people to be able to have a mutual exchange, wherever it comes to like either transactionally or whatever is a relationship. Then when you get there, then you map out the survey and the area as far as who you should talk to, right? You should try to talk to everybody, but you should definitely focus on 1 or maybe even 2 people that you connected with, right? Because for me, there is quantity and frequency, but then also this quality and volume, if that makes, or quantity, I should say. I'm sorry, quality. It's quality within the connection, if that makes sense. So if I just connect with like honestly, I'll say this: one of the more quality connections that I've had at the podcast summit was you. That was a quality connection. Like, we talked for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? We have similar interests as well. You wanted me to be on the podcast. I also want to help you out too with like, with your brand and everything else too. I want to tell you about my concierge company as well. That was a quality connection. Then after you do that, right, then afterwards is that you need to follow up. How and what are you doing to be able to have an efficient follow-up with all the connections that you have?
And is that not the killer question right there? I feel like that's a lot of people's. Well, that's one of my downfalls.
That's 90% of people, Jada. That's 90% of people.
Yeah.
Like, I say that a lot of people don't do too much preparation. They do okay with the during, and they do terrible with the after.
No, that was me. I was serving as an ambassador for the summit, and so they had us in a group chat beforehand. And I didn't even realize I needed to prepare until I saw people like, oh, these are my goals for the summit. I want to meet this many people. I want to make this many connections. I want to do this many episodes while I'm there. And I was like, wow, I need to make a list. And then I made a list. And I don't think I looked at the list while I was there, but I tried I remembered some of the things that I
You
wanted
had
to
an
do, and I was
idea.
trying to
Like
get
you
them.
had an idea.
Yeah.
Like you had somewhat of a framework of what you wanted to do.
Yeah, but I think
So
it's
that
really
is a part.
important. Oh, sorry.
That is one of that's one of the things that you have to do as far as doing the work prior to. So you did that. So
Yeah,
congratulations. I'm proud of you.
but I think a good thank you. I think a
It's
really
okay.
good point of that is to continue the work that you did prior. Because I do
Mm-hmm.
have a habit of like, I can write down the goals and get the things together, but I try to rely on my mind so much that I forget to pull the list along with me and go back and check to make sure that I'm on track and that I meet my goals in order
I think,
to like
yeah,
get through it.
yeah. I think a lot of entrepreneurs really need to get in the habit of writing things down.
Mm.
And this is actually something that I actually have to champion my business partner or my digital agency, Imar Grant. She would always hammer it down as far as a person like me that's like kind of like all over the place, that builds planes in the air, that goes crazy, that has a whole bunch of million ideas and everything else too, is to write things down. So ever since I actually, applied that method that she gave me, and shout outs to her for that, it made my life a lot easier because I was able to see things down. Because you understand, like once you can visualize things in your head, but then you can actually really see it on a piece of paper and be able to translate the message a lot differently when it's written down.
Mm.
Because then when it's in paper, it's not going to go anywhere. And sometimes when you're actually in your head, it just goes away like that. So you have to be able to really control that.
Yeah. No. That's such a good point. Okay. I was thinking if I want to
What were you
end
thinking about, girl?
I was just looking at the time.
It's all good. It's all good. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got time.
Yes,
We got
yes,
time.
yes. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else in my head currently. Wow, that was a lot of good information that you shared. A lot of good points for like action steps for people to follow. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much
Anytime.
for coming on today. If you have any final words or like any final advice that you would like to leave the audience with, please feel free to do so.
Yeah. In your journey, whatever you do, just always remember when there's a will, there's a way.
Mm. Wow, you be dropping all the gems. That's oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming on today. Please tell everyone how they can find you and get any of your services.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my name is Marvel Bishop. People call me Bishop. Based in Miami, luxury concierge host. If you want to find me on all socials, it's at Marvel Bishop. I have a YouTube channel as well too, where I actually interview people in nightlife, hospitality, and entertainment, and have a vlog as well. Definitely, different sorts of information. DM me, and however I can help you to expand, I guess, your business as well too, through what I've learned through my businesses as well, for networking, personal branding. Give me a DM, and let's work. I'm a vessel.
Cool. Oh, that's so nice. You're a vessel to bring people along. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I hope that you learned something and that you're able to apply any of these things in your life. Let me know in the comments or in Instagram. Just let us know if you're receiving anything and being able to put into action. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe on wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Let us know that you enjoy this content, please. Thank you so much. All right. Remember to keep creating a village wherever you go, and have a great day. Bye.
Appreciate you.